Josh Duhamel, the actor, Vikings fan, joining us. He's got a new movie, Spaceman. That's not why we had Josh on, but he has the story of Bill Spaceman Lee following his release by the Montreal Expos. So Josh plays the role of Spaceman, now available in select theaters, Google Play, Amazon, and DirecTV. Josh joining us from London. Bad news yesterday with your Vikings with Teddy. How'd you get the news, Josh?
Wait a second. I want to hear more about Fritzy's groin.
Okay. Have you ever had a hernia or a pulled groin, Josh?
I have. I actually pulled both of my groins when I was playing hockey as a kid, and I'll never forget it because it was on my birthday, and I had to walk around on crutches for like 2 weeks because I was skating into the boards, and just before I got there, I fell, and both my knees split. And so I've literally had groin injuries ever since. So Fritzy, I can relate, my friend. I don't really have anything sticking out from it.
Yeah, but you were an athlete, though, Josh.
Well, if you can call it that.
Oh, we've seen the football highlights because you've shown them to us.
I could send you more if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, maybe I should send them to Zimmer.
Yeah, maybe Zimmer could use you as a quarterback.
They might need some help over there. The 43-year-old backup quarterback from Montana State University.
I like it.
Might not look so bad.
That would be your next movie. It's sort of like George Plimpton when he tried out for the Detroit Lions. That you could be, the paper Viking there. How'd you get the news yesterday in London?
Well, I guess I got a text. I got a text from I don't even remember who, and then I started calling around, looking at all the websites, and tried to figure out what exactly happened, and ended up listening to Zimmer's press conference. And yeah, sure enough, he's out. Looks like he's going to be out all year.
Oh yeah.
And it's not good. I'm not entirely confident in the guys we got backing him up. Sean Hill's serviceable. Stave is a little bit unproven, but I don't know, do we go out and get somebody? Do we go get Manziel?
No, good God. No.
Well, I mean, the drug dealers around Minneapolis would be thrilled with that.
No, God. You got Michael Vick, Mike Glennon, maybe Mark Sanchez, Josh McCown. I mean, it's not exactly murderer's row here for you, Josh.
I like the Glennon kid.
So do I.
Is he up?
Well,
for grabs?
No. You're going to have to trade for Kaepernick, Sanchez, Glennon. Geno Smith might get released. You might have to trade. I think you're going to have to give up something to get some kind of quality backup here.
Yeah.
And you thought that this was the year, right? You thought maybe your Super Bowl, dark horse?
Yeah, well, I figured that we were definitely, last year ended. It was pretty bad the way it ended last year, but we had that game won against Seattle. We beat them up and down the field all game, and it was a couple of fluke plays, and then that missed kick by Walsh, sent us packing, and that's sort of typical Vikings, especially in the playoffs. But I feel like this team is different. I feel like Zimmer's got these guys believing they can actually win, and it's a tough blow. But you know what? I think with the defense as tough as they are, they're going to be able to stay in games. Now it's a matter of whether or not we can get a quarterback that can just sort of keep the ship righted, and not make dumb mistakes.
What are you doing in London?
Shooting Transformers 5.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we were in Wales last week. It's funny because we went to Wales, which is beautiful, desolate. A lot more sheep than actual human beings in Wales. I don't know if you know that.
I did not know that.
And no, it's beautiful. And then that night we drove into London, and it was a holiday weekend, and London was just popping. It was crazy. So we saw two different ends of the spectrum in about 2 hours. And so we're going to be here for about a month. I got my wife out here with me. I got my little boy with me. We're just going to be, living as the bits do for the next month or two.
Who's in Transformers 5?
Well, let's see. Wahlberg is back. Anthony Hopkins has a pretty cool part in it. Laura Haddock, who's a Brit herself. God, I can't remember the other guy's name. It's slipping my mind. Really big actor, and I can't remember his name. So we'll just move on.
Paulie,
and
Paul, Google that so
I'll look up
Josh
Josh's
doesn't
movie.
know who he's in a movie with. Could you
Well, I don't have any scenes with him. I can really tell what I'm doing from day to day on this movie.
take
I really
Wahlberg?
can't.
Josh, could you take
What?
Wahlberg?
Could I take him in what?
Fight. You know what I'm talking about. If it's go time.
Oh, he's. I've got a lot of reach on him. I'm taller than him, but he's a scrappy little dude. He's got a lot of fight experience. It would have to be something where I'd have to train for a little bit just to hang in there because he grew up in Boston, man.
Yeah.
Those guys with a lot of older brothers, so he's probably had a lot more experience. But I wouldn't count me out.
Yeah, I think he'd fight dirty too. Yeah, if he got you to the ground, then you're in trouble.
Dude, I don't think it would ever come to that point. He's a pretty good dude.
Just in case it did.
Wahlberg's a good guy.
That's all. I'm trying to start something
It
here.
was sort of like The Rock and Vin Diesel.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I read something about it. I guess I could ask Tyrese. I know Tyrese. But
have you ever had one of those moments when you've been on a movie set where you wanted to beat up a fellow actor?
Never. Almost never. One time it almost happened. And it was the dumbest thing because we were actually doing a fight scene where it was he and I were going at it. It was on Las Vegas. And we had this scene that we were pushing each other back around and he pushed me and I pushed back and I accidentally grabbed his tie. And then we did another take, and I accidentally grabbed it again. I swear I didn't mean to, but he started to get pissed. So the next time he came back and pulled on my tie. So then it became like these two guys pulling on each other's ties in the scene, and then, they had to separate us. And, he got pissed and called his agent and wanted to leave, but it was, it all turned out okay. We're friends now.
Wait, who was that?
I can't say.
Look on the IMDb here. Josh doesn't know who he's in a movie with and who he got into a fight with. I
don't think it'll ever show up. It was stupid. But that's the closest we ever got.
This Bill Spaceman Lee movie. Did you hear from? Was Spaceman Lee involved in this movie?
Yeah, he was involved quite a bit. He came to the set. I talked to him. The most he doesn't have a cell phone or anything, so you have to schedule a time to call, and he'll go to some payphone up in Maine or Vermont or wherever he's at the time, and call you from some payphone. And so that was the first time I talked to him about 20 minutes, and for the life of me, the guy he's brilliant. First of all, he speaks. He'll talk about whatever. He reads nonstop, and he'll go off on these crazy tangents. And I just remember he was talking about wine, and just cut your head off and let your body do the talking. And that's really the way he lived his life. Was he just sort of acted first and paid the consequences for it later, and that ultimately got him thrown out of baseball because he was viewed by Major League Baseball as an outlier, a guy who was anti-establishment in a lot of ways, and admitted, talked openly about his, marijuana use and drinking while he was playing and everything else, and they hated that. But the fans and the media loved him, so he became an iconic figure in Boston and then in Montreal, and then ultimately got released from Montreal for standing up for one of the players on his team. Went across the street and drank a few beers during the game in his uniform and said, just call me if you need me, because he was pissed that they released one of the guys. And then the next day they just released him. And that's sort of where this story begins, is him trying to get back in and realizing he's never going to get back in, and starts playing in these beer leagues up in Canada. It's great. I really am proud of the movie. We shot it for nothing in 13 days. And, it's a really cool little movie about this guy who's trying to figure his way after the game he loved left him behind.
The movie is Spaceman, starring Josh Duhamel, about Bill Spaceman Lee. It's in select theaters, Google Play, Amazon, and DirecTV. We noticed that Jay Moore...
And iTunes. Don't forget iTunes. Jay Moore was in one episode of Las Vegas. Did you get into a fight with Jay Moore? No, but I actually broke up a fight with Jay Moore on the set. He was only there for a few days. But I remember he got into it with some of the producers, and I sort of stepped in on his behalf.
Go figure.
Yeah, but it wasn't Jay and I. No.
All right. Well, good luck with the Vikings search for a backup quarterback. Tell Fergie Fergs that we said hello, and
I will.
Have fun over there, and introduce yourself to your cast. Just get to know them a little bit better. Okay, Josh?
Are you acclimated back to the States after being over in Brazil?
Yeah, it was only an hour difference, but it took a couple of days. But yeah, it was fine. I'm glad to be back. It was a good trip.
Well, you did a great job, Dan.
Thank you, Josh.
It was fun to watch.
Thank you, buddy. Have fun over there. Right. Safe travels.
All right. Be good. Bye-bye.
All right. It's Josh Duhamel.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekday mornings on Audience.